Um, Hello there. This is Aaron for CoderNerd.com. I'm going to start to explain to you how we're actually going to start game development. For that, we're going to be using the SFML graphics framework and the C++ language. Okay, here I'm on my simple Linux distribution. So, okay, we're going to get started. Here I've got a folder called Gamdev I use for my development, and CoderNerd, which I use for my tutorials. I created a directory called Gamdev, and let's create our part 1. Okay, here we go. Oh, the name isn't very nice, so let's just correct that. Part 1. Okay, and we'll just have one simple main.c++ file. I'm going to start off just showing you how to develop this really without a big IDE like code blocks, Eclipse or something. We're just going to use a simple text editor and the command line to compile it. So let's get started. Okay, the main header, this is going to be, so we include SFML graphics.hpp. And now I would just simply write our standard C++ main function, okay, as you all are quite familiar with. Okay, and that's not anything interesting so far. First of all, we need to create a window. So sf.render window, that's the name of our class. Create a variable called window. And now we have to basically, our window has a resolution and a name. So SF video mode, this is what we give it. 640 480. We can actually specify the size of the color channel, like 32 if we want, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to leave that and just give it the name SFML part 1. Okay, that's a simple name. Here we go. Now we've got our window. Next thing, if you're familiar with game development in any way, you know that we need to have a loop that basically once we've set everything up, everything just goes inside this loop, and the loop like checks for updates in the logic, if the user has pressed any buttons, and then updates the game or updates the physics engine, and then redraws it on the screen. So we're going to have more or less the same thing here. We're going to do a simple while true to start with. This is, well, we'll correct it later. We'll see it's not the best way to do it. And what do we actually do in this loop? Basically, we redraw our screen. So this is what we're going to do here. First of all, there's 2 steps to redrawing your screen. First, we're actually going to clear it, which means wipe all its contents and replace it with a color. So this is what we're going to do here, where you replace it with black, simple. And then we just need to display it. Okay, it's pretty easy. Display. So that shows it on the screen. Okay, so we can actually go and compile this, and we'll see it works. Okay, cd mdev, CoderNerd, Gamdev part 1. Okay, and now we'll just do G++, our main.c++ file. We want to output it as main. If you're on Windows, you do main.x, but I'm on Linux, so I won't. And so this is the libraries we're going to link it to. We're going to link it to the SFML libraries. So the first one is SFML system. You always have to link this one when you're using the SFML library. SFML window, which is basically the windowing library, which allows us to create windows, so on. And this is just the graphics that we've been using. So compile this and we should be fine. Now we can run the program, and up, magic, it creates this window we have up here. There's a few problems with it. You can see it's a bit stuttery, it's not very slow, but that's something I want to come to. The thing is here that actually that window is redrawn a very big amount of time. So I'm going to do something here where actually, well, I'll restart the program so you can show something. Here I open my task manager, and here that program, which isn't drawing anything, is consuming a lot of basically processor resources. That's quite annoying. So we're going to fix that now. Simple way to fix this is we're going to define our FPS as basically we're going to do 60. Okay, 60 frames per second. And what we're going to do at the end, we're sleep to free up resources. Okay, that's what we're going to do here. So SF sleep, it takes a float, and we sleep the inverse of the time. So FPS, there we go. So if we run this, it should be a lot lighter actually, so close it, recompile. We've recompiled, we can run, and it's a bit nicer to move around. And if we check the task manager here again, there's it, 0% instead of 40, so this is a lot nicer. Thing is, we actually can't close it, as you can see here, by clicking on the button, so we're going to fix that now. Basically, we need to change our while true to actually a while window is opened. Simple as that. So that basically checks the window's open. There's something that we need to do. We need to create a variable which is going to hold our events. Okay, so we call it event. Okay. And so what we're going to do in here is that we're going to while event basically equals well, now we're going to get all the events from our window, which are like the key, well, it can be key presses, button presses, so on and so on. Get event. So while we get something here, we store it in our event variable. Now we need to check basically if now we're going to need to check if basically this event is a close event. So if the person's clicking on the close button, that's what we're going to do now. Okay. So what we're going to check here is if the type of our event that we just received here, the type is equal to basically a close. So SF event close. We check if it's a close event. And what we're going to do if that event is pressed, we can do anything like send a message to the users, draw something on the screen, but what we're going to do is just simply close our window. So window point close, and now what's on this line, window is open, is going to be false, so the game's going to stop executing, so we'll get out of the loop there. So let's close this. Yep. And now we're going to recompile it all. So here, we got one solved problem. It's not closed but closed. Sorry. Now recompile up. Should be fine. Now we can open our window and we'll be able to close it. So we can drag our window about. Let's close it and see our program exit. So that's all nice. So that's all, folks. This is basically the first tutorial. There's going to be more, and this is what we're going to be using as a basis to develop our games in the coming tutorials. Hope you enjoyed it. This was once again Aaron for CoderNerd.com.